Hi everybody, it's Rebecca Virginia, and today's DIYs are all rustic coastal decor pieces. The first DIY in today's video is a rustic nautical chest. Here are all of the supplies you'll need to make this on your own. We're going to start off this nautical DIY with painting our wood crate from the Dollar Tree. I'm taking a microfiber cloth and some Waverly wax paint in the color Antique, and I am rubbing that onto the sides of our wood crate and that middle stripe area. To make this blue paint color, I mixed the shade English Navy from Apple Barrel with the shade Cayman Blue from Folk Art, and I'm applying this to the top stripe area of our wood crate, and also on the top of our wood crate, I'm going to be applying this to the middle stripe. Then I tried to make more of a beige color by mixing some brown paint with some white paint, and I'm applying this to the top of our wood crate. Again, I'm going to be going in that middle stripe with the blue color, but I just applied that to the top at first and to the bottom stripe. And you can see on the top I did go ahead and add in the blue color to that middle stripe. I want this chest to look super old, like it has been hiding on a pirate ship for centuries, so I'm going in very heavy-handedly with some brown paint and my stippling brush and really just dirtying up this chest. To make the knot that's going to go on top of our chest, I use some nautical jute rope from the Dollar Tree. It was twisted together, this natural color and this navy blue. I untwisted them so it wasn't quite as thick, and unfortunately I forgot to hit record when I was making it, so I'm going to be demonstrating instead on this blue nautical rope. You'll take an end of the rope in each hand, make a small loop with the rope in your right hand. Then with your left hand, you're going to take the rope and go over the knot, then under and through the knot and pull. And if that was a little confusing, don't worry, I'm going to do it again like 3 more times for you all. So again, we're making this little loop with the rope in our right hand. Then you take the rope in your left hand and go through the back of that circle, over the circle, and then through it from the back and pull. And I believe this is called a snake knot. I was looking up different types of nautical knots that you could make, and 2 of the places said this was a snake knot, so if you need a little bit more detailed of a tutorial on how to make this, that is what you'd want to Google. Again, making the loop, taking the rope in the left hand and pulling it through the loop, over and then back through and pulling tight to complete the knot. And you can just go ahead and add however many knots that you would like to complete the rope, which we're going to later be hot gluing on top of our chest. But first I wanted to make some straps for the chest, so I got this faux leather ribbon from the Dollar Tree and I hot glued it down to each end of our wood crate. Then with our completed snake knot rope, we are going to hot glue that to the top of our chest so that it acts as a handle to it. I found these starfish pins at the Dollar Tree and thought they were so cute and knew that I had to use it as the centerpiece on this chest, so I went ahead and painted it this rusty red color and hot glued it to the center of our chest. I love the weathered look of this chest and think that it will be the perfect piece of rustic coastal decor. The next Dollar Tree DIY is a piece of a Lighthouse wall decor. Here are all of the supplies that you'll need if you want to recreate this on your own. When I saw that the Dollar Tree had all of their nautical beach decor out, I first spotted this lighthouse sign and thought it was so unique that I just had to pick it up to DIY. So first I am starting off by taking the whole thing apart, removing all of the ribbon from the back, and sanding off any bits of glitter that were on the wording on top of our lighthouse. Similar to what we did with our previous chest DIY, I want this to look like an old nautical item, so I want to make this a very old looking lighthouse. So to start, I'm going to just paint everything white and get a nice clean base so then we can go in with our navy and start shading. The main color here is going to be that dark navy, and then I'm going to add in a bit of the red just like I did in the first DIY. So I'm taking my blue paint and painting the entire bottom part of the lighthouse and the top and bottom part of the first piece of the lighthouse. I wanted to add a 3D fence area to the top of the lighthouse, so I'm actually taking these fences that are from an old Christmas scene, and I'm really happy that I didn't throw these out because I've actually used them in a spring DIY video too. And what I'm doing is taking my miter shears, which I got from Amazon, I will link them down below, and I'm just cutting off 4 of these little fence posts, and I'm going to be lining those up along the window area on the top of our lighthouse. So I'm just taking some brown paint and painting them brown so that they will pop against the dark navy background. And originally I had planned to paint this area brown, which is why I was a little bit careless when I was putting down the blue paint, but I decided to paint it white instead so that our fence posts would pop more. Before adding in the fence posts, now that the paint on my lighthouse has dried, it is time to distress it. Again, I want this to look like a very old and weathered lighthouse, so I'm taking my stippling brush that I got from the Crafters Square section of the Dollar Tree and some brown paint from Apple Barrel and just going all around the lighthouse, making lines and trying to distress it. To add a nautical look to the fence that's going on the top of our lighthouse, I wrapped jute around it twice and then hot glued it down. And without cutting the line of jute, I went ahead and added another fence post connecting the two with the jute, and again wrapping it twice around the fence post before hot gluing it down onto our lighthouse. I repeated this process with the other 2 fence posts and then just hot glued the last little piece of jute on the end to the back of our lighthouse. Next, to piece our lighthouse back together and turn it into a hanging sign, I flipped the entire lighthouse over and I'm going to be using a piece of jute to hold together our lighthouse. I measured about 3/4 of an inch between all of the lighthouse pieces. It didn't exactly stay precisely that size, but I tried my best to keep it at 3/4 of an inch. And then I just took some tape to tape down where I thought the jute should go before going in with my hot glue gun to permanently hold the jute in place. With our sign now hanging in place, it's time to add the last little bits of embellishment onto the sign. So I love this red anchor. I found it at the Dollar Tree and I thought it would look so cute on this lighthouse, kind of how I did the red starfish on the last DIY. I loved the touch of red with the nautical blue. I wanted something holding onto my anchor, so I took some nautical rope and just placed it into the center of our anchor. It was too thick to pull all the way through, but putting down some hot glue in the center of it worked fine. And then I wanted it to kind of snake up the lighthouse, so again I'm using tape just to map out my pattern before I end up going back in with the glue gun to make this permanent. And I did add a little curly circle at the top as well. To finish off this DIY, I took a piece of jute and strung it through the hole that was already made at the top of this project and went ahead and tied it into a knot to turn it back into a hanging sign. The last craft in today's Rustic Coastal Decor video is a sandy beach candle. Here's everything that you need to make it. Also, I forgot to add it in the supplies, but you will need sand to make this DIY. So we are going to be making our very own coastal candle. And the first thing that I'm doing is cutting a bunch of bamboo skewers that I got from the Dollar Tree. You get 100 in a pack, so it's a really great deal. And I already did one side of the candle for you so that you have a visual aid as I try to explain why I'm cutting the bamboo skewers. And basically what we're going to be doing is trying to create some dune fencing for our candle. So I'm cutting the bamboo skewers with these miter shears that I got off Amazon, which I absolutely love. And I'm cutting them at all sorts of different heights. And then I took a rubber band and put it around my glass candle. And this way I can kind of figure out how I want the faux dune fencing to look before I add the hot glue to make it permanent. So I'm just playing around with the different lengths of the bamboo skewers until I figure out a pattern that I like, and then I removed them from the glass jar and took off the rubber bands and went ahead and made my pattern permanent by adding some hot glue and placing the bamboo skewers down onto our glass candle holder. Then I completed the exact same process to the two last remaining sides of our glass candle, putting down the rubber bands, applying the bamboo skewers, kind of figuring out the placement that I want, then removing our rubber bands and permanently placing down our bamboo skewers with some hot glue. As a border around the bottom of our glass nautical candle, I took some jute and just hot glued it all the way around, and I ended up doing this 4 times, so I had a semi-thick band of jute at the bottom of our candle. As the focal piece for our candle, I am taking one of these shells that came in a bag of a bunch of them at the Dollar Tree and hot gluing it to the front of our glass jar. Now I am taking some white sand and filling up about 1/4 of our candle holder. Then I took one of these set of candles from the Dollar Tree and I just kind of twisted it down into the sand so that it is nice and secure at the center of our candle holder. I continued adding a little bit more sand around the candle, but not too much because I don't want it to be higher than where our bamboo skewer sticks are, because I still want it to look like the skewer sticks are holding back the sand dunes. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next Thursday with a new video. Until then, keep searching, keep creating.